What's going on, guys? Finally back. Took a while. I was away, but also for good reason. I was away. I was making all of these new sheets for you to do the company analysis, basically preparing them for you guys. So we have the company analysis light and the in-depth stock analyzer platform. Now, first of all, let's look at this spreadsheet. This will be available in the description for all of you guys for free. You can just go into File, make a copy, and copy it to your own drive. So let me just take you through it. So first of all, you put in your ticker. Now, of course, this is not for analysis of the chart. The chart is more or less there just to see what trend the company is taking. Company price, of course, it doesn't even have an axis. But there's a lot of days that have to go in this chart, so that's why. So ultimately, you put your ticker up here. We're going to be doing Microsoft in this video, and the first tab you have here is called Growth. So in this tab, you have two tables here. The first one is the net income table, and the second one is the free cash flow table. This is an 8-year chart. This gives you the financial historical data of revenue, net income, and profit margin for both free cash flow and net income. And then on the right side, you have a graph. You can select if you want the profit margin chart or the free cash flow margin chart. Now, this is very important to see how the company is growing. So you can see that here, Microsoft is growing its revenue, its net income, its profit margin, also its free cash flow and its free cash flow margin. So very nice growing company. And then on the chart, you can see that really Microsoft over the last 8 years has been going to the moon. There really have been no setbacks for the free cash flow, and the profit margin has increased. So that's how you would analyze this chart right here. Now let's move to ratios. So first of all, you got the profit margin compared to the industry average. So you can see that Microsoft is absolutely shredding the market um, in its industry. Now, of course, you cannot take this very seriously because, of course, the industry average changes, the industry average profit margin changes every every month drastically because of the way the market works. Also, this data might not be completely accurate. It's from 2022, and not all of the sectors are included. Sometimes it might mess up. Do not um, use it as a financial tool, basically to rely on. Always do a little bit more of your own research. But here is a very important one also. So you can see that Microsoft, compared to the industry average, has a P ratio of 33 and the industry average is 17. So this just shows you these X and ticks if it's smaller or bigger. So of course the profit margin you want it to be bigger and the P ratio you want it to be smaller, right? The same with the price to free cash flow ratio. This X shows you if it is smaller than the 5-year average price to free cash flow ratio. Now here you can see that you have the ROIC, and this basically checks if it's bigger than 10. This ROIC of 55 is absolutely insane, and Microsoft is doing really well. And then on the right side here, you got a graph. It basically tells you how the P ratio is moving and how the price to free cash flow ratio is moving. Now let's go to the financial health of the company. So on the left side, you have a chart. This is a 5-year chart, and it shows you how the current assets have changed, how the current liabilities have changed, how the long-term assets and long-term liabilities have changed. Also, if the shares outstanding have gone down, if the total debt has gone down, and if the free cash flow has gone up. So, uh, for Microsoft, really the only thing uh, that is getting worse is that the amount of total current liabilities is getting bigger, uh, quite drastically. Now, on the right side, you have a chart. Now you can choose which one you want here. There's a lot of different charts. So, first one shows you how the total current assets and current liabilities have grown over the last 5 years. Next one's long-term assets and long-term liabilities growth over the last 5 years. Then is the shares outstanding chart, so you can see that the shares have gone down from 7,700 in 2018 to only 7,496 million in 2022. And the last one shows you the debt to free cash flow amount. So the dark blue is the free cash flow, and the light green is the total debt. The line here just shows the ratio between the two. So you can see that the debt to free cash flow is shown right here. So for the next one, you can see dividends. Now, not all of the companies will have a dividend. Microsoft does pay a dividend yield, but it's only 0.84%. Now let me take you through this. So first of all, on the top left, you have a chart here. Over the last 5 years, how the dividend yield has changed and how the payout ratio has changed. So you can see that Microsoft in 2018 had a huge payout ratio of 76%, but now it only has a 24% payout ratio, so very good there. This basically shows you if the payout ratio is smaller than 65% because you don't really want it to be bigger than that. Now here it shows you the payout ratio. Of course, this is for the year 2021, 2022. This is the most current data here, most currently available, right? So it takes the current quarter. Then the 5-year average dividend growth. So you can see Microsoft has been cutting their dividend growth. This is annually, by the way. And then on the right side, you have a graph of the payout ratio and the dividend yield. So you can see both are going down. So then, don't be intimidated by this chart. It's not that complicated. Let's start from the bottom. So this is the current price of Microsoft. This is a table of all of the checks and X's that we consider to be important. So you can see the 5-year revenue growth is 79%, very nice. Profit margin growth, also 5-year, 144%. You can see ticks. You can check what each one of these is. So here you can see that we want it to be bigger than 0%, bigger than 0%, and yes, it is. So you'll see a check here. Now, you can go through each one of these. It says everything, right? So there it is, right? And then these two X's here is just the PE is smaller than the sector average, and that the 5-year price of free cash flow is lower than 15. So of course Microsoft is very overvalued according to PE and price of free cash flow. So that's why those two are X's. Now you can go through the rest here by your own. I don't think it's that complicated. It actually is written right in the first column. Now let's move on to this part because that's a little bit more tricky. So first of all, let's delete these. Let's go through it. So first of all, here on the left side of the calculator, you can see that it gives you the revenue growth, profit margin, free cash flow margin, PE, price of free cash flow, and discount rate for. So discount rate doesn't give you. Discount rate you need to tell it what you want your discount rate to be. But anyway, so first of all, it gives you the revenue growth for 1 year, 5-year, 10-year, and each of these segments also has one for the 1, 5, and 10-year. Right? So On the right side, you have your assumptions. Now, this is where you want to estimate the future growth of the company. Now, you need to be extremely conservative when it comes to this because the hardest part of analyzing a company is actually um, knowing what is going to do in the future. That's why you have to be extremely conservative and use a margin of safety so that um, even if your estimates are a little bit wrong, you'll still be okay, right? So you don't want to estimate like 12%. You don't basically just want to copy this over to here. So you don't want to say 12%, 14% in the middle, and 16% in the high just because they done that here. That's not very rational because uh, the biggest company in the world, Apple, makes revenue of 400 billion. This is a 10-year estimate, so if they grew, even in the low scenario, 12% per year for the next 10 years, that would mean that they would become like a billion-dollar company, billion-dollar revenue company, which is absolutely insane. I mean, a billion millions, so a $1 trillion revenue company, because all of these numbers are in millions, of course, except for the prices and the percentages. Uh, so yeah, you don't want to estimate that high. So for Microsoft, it's pretty fast growing company. So I'm just going to do 5, 7, and 9, something like that. You can see that I'm not copying these. I'm not copying the 18% because that is just way too much. And yeah. So for profit margins, I'm just going to go a little bit lower. So I'm just going to go 33, 35, and then 37 if they crush it. Same for free cash. I'm going to go a little lower actually. I'm gonna go 30, 32, and 34. For the PE, I'm just going to go 18, 19, 20. Same for here, 18, 19, 20. And then the discount rate, which is kind of like your desired annual return. Not really, but what you it's basically your desired annual return. You won't get that annual return based off these prices. Uh but you usually I just keep it at 11, 12.5 and 14% because I want to get a return rate of return of 12.5%. And then it spits out these prices that for your estimates are basically the right price to pay for Microsoft. So you can see if you believe that the high estimates for Microsoft are true, you should be buying a Microsoft at around $200. If you believe the low estimates are true, then you should be buying Microsoft at around $150. That's basically how it's calculated. You can see that Microsoft is really just in the red, like generally, and you can see that it's right here actually. The P ratio is 33. But it is what it is, right? Microsoft is a great company, so need to pay a premium for such a good company. I mean, you can see all of the other checks here. Uh, in my in my opinion, Microsoft is actually a better company fundamentally than Apple. So right. So now, um, let's look at the in-depth stock analyzer platform. Now, if you didn't understand the stuff in this video, do not worry. I will make a new video explaining all of the pages here in depth, each one, revenue growth, profit margin, what it is, why it's important, everything. I'll make all of those videos. Don't worry, they're coming. But if you didn't understand all of those, definitely do not watch, or you can watch, but you won't understand the in-depth stock analyzer platform. But let's dive right into it. So I haven't decided how this is going to be available to the public yet, to my viewers. I don't know if uh, I want it to be paid yet. It's kind of a sheet, so I don't know like what basically ask for it. I might make a Patreon, but anyway, so if you have the ticker of your company, just input it in there, and then it's divided into it's divided into more parts. You have growth, valuation, financial health, ratio and dividend, and then the forecast, and then the summary and intrinsic value calculator or calculation. Uh, I'll just name it calculator. Anyway, so you can see that this is actually the same, and you will get the same prices here if you input the same assumptions. So it has the same calculator, but a lot of things are different. Um, Now, the key thing that's different is when we have Apple here, you love the company, right? So you want to calculate its intrinsic value. So you do, um, so you add in your assumptions, right? You think that it's going to grow, like, I don't know, it's going to grow. Well, that's actually maybe a little bit overkill for Apple. Apple doesn't usually grow as much as Microsoft does, so we should probably tone that down a bit. For profit margin, I'm just gonna go 23, 25, and 27. I'm just going to go a little higher for the free cash flow margin, maybe 24, 26, and 28. PE, let's go same as Microsoft, 18, 19, 20. Let's just copy that, and then I'll keep that there. Now, one very big benefit over the other platform is that if you like this, then you just pick that, okay, I want to use the high assumptions with a 30% margin of safety. You pick which one you want to choose. So I just want to choose the free cash flow multiple. Then you hit add to watch list, and then it adds Apple to the watch list at what you have calculated here, the intrinsic value right there. Uh, so you basically have a watch list there, right? Uh, Now this tick right here is basically if you want to use this calculator to add to watch list. So if you untick it and add to watch list, it asks you what is your buy price, aka intrinsic value. You can say that it's $100, and then it will add Apple at $100 um into your watch list using AppScript in Google Sheets. Now, um I will make a new video also talking about this platform, what it does, what are all these, but I don't think that I'll fit it in one video. This video is already incredibly long, so I'll make a new video just about each of these things, and yeah, it's basically going to be in a new video. So I hope you enjoyed. Remember to go into File, make a copy, and make a copy. Do not request access to this file because I will not give you access. It is simply a file um, for you to make a copy of. I will put it in the description of this video, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me and motivates me to make more videos. And of course, if you want to see any video about uh, investing using spreadsheets or just investing in general, plop it down in the comments. I would love to see what you guys are interested in so that I have some new video ideas. Now, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, and what did I just say? I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.